Last week we looked at line versus mass, two different ways of seeing, but it raises a deeper question. How should drawing actually be studied? In The Practice of Drawing, or The Practice and Science of Drawing by Harold Speed, you can turn directly to his chapter called The Study of Drawing, and his answer might be a little different from what many people expect. Speed suggests that study isn't about producing finished drawings. It's about training perception. And there's a difference between drawing to create a result and drawing to develop judgment. For Speed, study should be quite deliberate. You might isolate problems, spend time studying line relationships, and then focus on shadow shapes and tonal masses. Simplify what you see. Group shadows. Look at the big structure before getting lost in detail. So drawing practice isn't just filling sketchbooks. It's training the eye. Speed even hints at how a student might work. He often recommends simple subjects, things like plaster casts, not because they're exciting, but because they remove distractions. Now, you might begin by carefully studying line and proportions, then start observing shadow shapes and masses, and only later begin modelling the form within those masses. So the aim isn't to rush towards a finished drawing, the aim is to gradually develop judgment. Now, of course, there are different traditions in art. Some emphasise immediate creative response, drawing as an intuitive act driven by feeling. Others, they emphasise deliberate perceptual training. Now, Speed clearly sits more in that second tradition, but that doesn't mean expression isn't important. It simply suggests that expression can become stronger when perception is disciplined. Even teachers who championed vitality, like Robert Henry in The Art Spirit, he still talks about construction and mass. Their concern wasn't structure itself, it was lifeless work. Speed's concern was almost the opposite, untrained seeing. But then you've got other academic systems like the Varg drawing course, which trained accuracy through careful copying. Speed's interest was slightly different. He wanted the student developing judgment while they worked, not just perception. But we'll come back to that later. So, study builds judgment, expression reveals it. So today's Friday Thought, it raises an interesting question. Is drawing mainly about measuring relationships or understanding form?